Does that mean go? Hey guys, welcome back to another edition of the Dan Gets Rich Endurance Sports Podcast. Today is Saturday, August the 21st, and this is episode number 10 of season number 3. Please follow us on our social medias at Dan Gets Rich on the Instagram and the Facebook. And please hit that subscribe button on whatever platform you consume your podcast. My name is Richard Parks, and I am here with my long-lost friend, Daniel. King Dan Cole. What's up, Dan? How you doing, buddy?
What's going on, Rich? I know it is so good to be back talking to you. We have gone an extended period of time without doing this. And I've seen on our Facebook and Instagram pages, a lot of people clicking in just to kind of see what's going on. And we had to go through a reformatting. We were a little disappointed with how Squadcast was treating us with some of the issues that we had as far as the audio. So we are now live on StreamYard broadcasting. And I know we talked about this at the end of 2020. We said one of our goals in 2021 was to have a video, and boom, here we are. It only took us almost 9 months to get it done, but we are here. You got a sweet looking lava lamp in the back. What is going on with that?
I don't know. This is kind of like my hostage background. I have a new background, but I haven't installed it. But I figure everybody on the video needs a background. This is my hostage background. It's the like burlap bag. So I figured I'd put the lava lamp up, and Janine pulled out this lava lamp, but it's not lavaing. It's just kind of sitting there. It's like this coagulation lamp, It's all just up at the top. I'm hoping as the broadcast goes that we'll get some kind of movement from that. I thought that's what they're supposed to do, but I'm not sure.
I think you need to plug it in for it to move around. Is it not?
The lights on. It's lit up. Oh shit! God dang.
We are the broadcast. You've broken your lava lamp and you have sworn. We are off to a great start.
And before we got on here, Dan said, I don't think we're supposed to swear, and I don't know that that's true. I think I've heard cuss words on. Are we on YouTube or Facebook? What are we on?
So right now we are linked to both, but we are doing this broadcast on our YouTube channel as of now, and our next one we were just testing this out. Literally. Okay. Rich, I think it's been like 5 weeks since we've done a broadcast, and we tried to do one 2 weeks ago, and it just absolutely sounded like crap. So we decided to not post that, and hopefully we still have some viewers now that it's been so long since we've done one.
To be fair, this has been a long time. You and I get on a broadcast, speak, and it's like this hand grenade to you. I can see this look on your face that you don't know what's going on, and then all of a sudden you realize that I've spoken, and then you react, and it's this weird thing because I can see you on all the other broadcasts. I can definitely see you now, but on all the other one I could see you, but so you could see me speak, but you couldn't hear what I was saying. It was really weird. And Squadcasts, F them, man. Those guys, if you're trying to start a podcast, don't go with them. We don't have a sponsor, but we have we have an anti-sponsor. We're anti-Squadcast. So
we're still on. We're still on board with we're still on with Buzzsprout. Good, they treat us well, but Squadcast.
No, Buzzsprout's the bomb. Buzzsprout's actually a Jacksonville company. The last couple of years, we've gone to what was it called? Podfest. And man, the guys at Buzzsprout have taken care of us like we're superstars, man. The big gala parties, and we went last time we went to the bowling extravaganza down in Orlando. That was So if you're planning on starting a podcast, Buzzsprout, and what's this one we're on now? Live stream.
We're on StreamYard.
Okay, this seems good so far. It seems good. I'm happy with it.
Well, we're 4 minutes in. We'll see how it goes. Maybe it was just us. Maybe we were doing something wrong. As we've talked about, we're not the most technologically advanced people. So we plug in our mics and we get on and we talk. That's what we do.
I did. You told me to go get one of those Wi-Fi kind of range extenders. My modem thing, the Magic machine is downstairs. So for it to get up here and upstairs, maybe it's too far for that little modem machine to activate. And so you told me to go buy one of these little plug-in gimmicks, and I've done so. And hopefully we're getting more, that Wi-Fi special juice right up here upstairs into the office of the podcast.
Well, Rich, that's what happens when you have a 4,000 square foot mansion on the beach. I mean, what do you expect?
Looks like I live in a hostage bunker. I've got this thing is like a 19. I think it's from my wife's grandmother. I think she's got that from somewhere. It's like we live in a Salvation Army place or something. I don't know.
You know what I love?
Yeah,
you still have the globe. I love that you still have a globe.
Oh, the globe.
You might be the last person that has a globe.
That's the thing I hate the most is that printer, because I hate printers. Me and printers have this lifelong just love-hate, because every time you need something printed, it's just going to say, we're a little bit out of yellow. So you can't print. I go, I don't need yellow. Don't need it. I just want black. Just print the black. I don't need it.
Just let me print. The globe hey, man.
You know what I'm talking about.
I got half. I do. I know you. If I'm out of blue or yellow, I should still be able to use the black to print. And printers don't let you do it, and I don't understand why.
It's a sales gimmick. I mean, there's times with printers that you go to buy the cartridges and you realize that they've got a brand new printer here with the cartridges for $39, and they're trying to sell you new cartridges for your printer for $89 for the set. And so you're like, okay, I guess I'm buying a new printer. So that's what they should do. Like Staples, they should just give you the printer because they know you're going to spend $500 on ink in the first month. Just give me the printer. It's got to be what they do. It's a loss leader. They just know that they've got you. Then you need to go get the 820C, Epson, and you've got this wall of printer inks, and you're trying to find the 840C, and then you got to go find the guy who has the printer unlock key, because only this guy's got that key, can get you in. Because the printer is a valuable commodity in that entire store. So you're hunting for that guy, and he can't find the key, and then he walks up and he goes, "Well, I got to get the key from the back," and he wanders off, and you're like, "What am I doing here? Why am I here? Amazon, what am I doing? I hate this." Yeah, that is exactly how it goes on. You went off on tangent. This is an endurance sports podcast. So for anybody listening for the first time, yes, we do actually talk about other things except things that go on in our ordinary life. I haven't seen you. The only time we interact is on this podcast. I just enjoy your company and your conversation. So there's some things that when I see you, and I want to talk about. So that's one. No, I appreciate so what's been going on, Dan? And you know what? So it's work's been crazy, obviously, for you in the last year. Work's been crazy for me, and obviously trying to coordinate our schedules has just been off. So for all the listeners out there, hopefully you tune back in to us. But last weekend, I played golf for the first time in 1 year. I had not even picked up a club in 1 year. And what did I decide to do? I took Average Joel and Greg, who's on our Stellar Endurance team, and then I took one of my other friends from through work that I know. We decided we went out to Alabama to play on the Robert Trent Jones Trail. We decided over 3 days that we were going to play 45 holes on Friday, 45 holes on Saturday, and 36 holes on Sunday. You know how tired the real field temperature out there was 106 each one of those days. And no wonder we got a great rate on our golf courses out there. But if you've never, if you're into golf and you've never played the Robert Trent Jones courses,
Highly recommend. They are in pristine condition. We buzz through our rounds in 4 hours every time. They have great all-you-can-play rates out there. I mean, we're not being paid for it. I just really enjoy those courses out there. This is the second year I've gone out there and done a golf trip, and absolutely amazing tracks out there.
Yeah, so last Friday we were trying to do the podcast, and we had, like you said, we had some technical difficulties. We had some things going on, and our schedules have been kind of crazy. And you were like trying to get it, and you got locked out of your you got locked out of your building in the morning. We were supposed to do a coffee edition. You got locked out. You messaged me. I was like, no way. How many things can you get wrong? And it's like God does not want us to do this podcast. It's not his plan. It's not his plan.
Everybody was again. I mean, Rich and I talked about it. I said, I will get up. I'm going to go to work because I had my microphone and things at work because I carry it with me just in case. I never know when we're going to do this podcast or where we're going to be. And so we decided at 6 a.m. we're going to go. And so on the day before, I even called and got a special key to get into my work building so I could be there really off hours. Well, I get into the building and then I go up to my floor where our work is, but they didn't activate my work building key, only the key to get into the building. So I call Rich at 5:30. I'm like, I'm standing outside my door and I can't get in.
And then you're like, oh, we could do it maybe at 9. And then my work day has started. You know, you can ask Janine. Once I leave the house at 7, lately I've been coming. It's a 7 to 7 thing to me for lately. I don't know what's happened. I used to not work at all. And now I work 100 hours a week. But anyway, but then you messaged me and said you had to drive 6 hours right after work to Alabama. And my thought, obviously I went right to work because you used to drive everywhere to go to work. You used to all the time be driving to go to work. So I'm thinking you're going to work. The next day I get up and I see this little post on the Facebook machine, and it's Average Joel and saying you guys are playing golf. And I was like, I'm not feeling bad for you at this point in time. You're playing 126 holes of golf in 3 days, you know? Yeah. I thought you were going to work. So,
you know,
hey, so how'd you hit them? I'm curious how you hit them, because sometimes you play golf, and I used to play a lot of golf, and I haven't played in a long time. Sometimes you hit them in the hole looks like a manhole. You know, you're hitting 20 footers into a manhole, and sometimes you're hitting into thimbles. You know, you're putting into thimbles. How was it for you?
I had a couple good holes, and I probably had 6 good holes and 120 subpar holes.
That's fine. That's a number right there. If you're an average golfer, you go out and if you get there, and you remember those 6, don't you?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, those are the ones that take you back to the course. I mean, you remember, you know, I think I had 2 birdies over all the holes we played. I think I had 2 birdies, and the other 4 were probably pars, and everything else went to shit after that. But no, you remember the good ones, and no, but it's the company, the courses. I mean, it was we had a good time. Next time, I got to drag you out there to go slog around in August in Alabama and play some golf.
Yeah, it looked fun, man. I don't know. I think I've been through Alabama. Obviously, I've been like I-10, whatever, but I haven't been up through northern Alabama. I heard it's beautiful. There's like rolling hills, and I saw a couple pictures that on the Facebook machine, and looked really cool. Environment to play some golf.
No, it was. It's a great, and yes, there is a lot of elevation change. So if you go Prattville, which is right outside of Montgomery, they have 3 courses. They have the judge, the legislator, and the senator. The senator's a link style course. The legislator's out on the water. And then you have the judge, which is again on the water. I think like 12 of the holes are on the water, but you go to the first tee box and you're 200 feet above the fairway. And so the fairway looks like it's about 10 yards wide and you have water on either side.
Yeah, I mean, you're obviously a Massachusetts guy, but I'm a Florida boy. We don't have any hills here. I mean, no, we don't. That's that change of elevation in the golf course. You go to a golf course in Jacksonville, Florida. The change of elevation's a foot through the course. That's a difference.
Yeah, for sure. But so before we did our last podcast, we had talked about, we were leading up to Jan and Lionel going head to head, and we always talked about it was pretty exciting. Obviously, it's a very moot point now because that happened like 4 weeks ago. But I wanted to touch base with you because it was awesome. You had the British Open going on. You had the Tour de France, which was almost done, and you had this all going. So I'm sitting there. I got the TV going. I got the computer going, and then I had my phone watching Tri Battle Royale. I'm like, it doesn't get any better than this. Did you tune into it? Did you see?
For a guy like you, that was like, it was better than Super Bowl Sunday, wasn't it? It was the best. It was just premier time.
For sure.
Premier time. I didn't watch any of that. I didn't watch 1 second of any of that. So I was probably outside doing things, living my life. But yeah. It was fantastic. I mean, what a great time to be alive when you can watch all those things at once, right?
Yeah. Now that you say, no, it's I absolutely love. I love when multiple sports are going on. I love when sports seasons cross each other. So you get like football and baseball going on at the same time. And up north, we officially don't say it's Patriot season until the Red Sox are done. And it looks like the Red Sox were going to have a great year, and all of a sudden they've fallen on their face and lost 14 of their last 20 games. I mean, absolutely ridiculous. They went from 4 games up to like 8 games back. So it may be an early start to the Patriots season. But anyway, you saw. Yeah, so I mean, it's coming up. It's coming up. But I just want to touch real quickly, but Jan, so they went head to head. The course conditions were, it was raining and looked like it was miserable out there, but set a new world record. I mean, he went 7:27:53, which is unbelievable. I mean, I don't even think the average person can comprehend those numbers when you're talking about how fast that is.
And how much faster can they get? I mean, you start looking at where they can find time, I mean, I don't know. We've talked about this, but it's just, where's the time? Where can you find it? In the swim, the bike, the run, the transition? I don't even know.
I mean, the only thing that I would think, I mean, he biked a 3:55 for 112 miles. So he went 28.6 miles an hour. I can't imagine that you could bike much faster than that. I mean, that's absolutely ridiculous. And to do that when there's nobody else on the course except for one other person, and Lionel biked 4 hours. So they were pretty close, but literally there's nobody else out there. That is all on your own grit going out there. And he ran a 2:44:21, which is a low like 6 pace, or maybe it's a mid 6 pace. Forgive me, I don't have that number in front of me. But he fell coming out of transition on one of the wet mats. Go down. He hurt his hip. Within the first mile of the race, and it tugged it out to a 2:44. So the only thing that I could think of is, you maybe could get to a 2:39 run, which is the record for an Ironman. I don't know. I don't know where else you get that time.
Yeah, but like you said, to put things in perspective, out there kind of racing on your own all day. That's tough, man. That's tough. And to put up those numbers and to break a record by yourself. Nobody's kind of, obviously he's getting pushed, but he's not getting pushed that hard. Nobody goes the whole way. So, I think a great event, obviously. And, I think he's got Lionel's got to tip his hat, right?
I mean, Lionel was unbelievable too. I mean, he set his own PR. He went 7:43. So obviously they were, they separated themselves on the run when he went out there, and it was unbelievable watching those two guys. But obviously, over the course of the last 10K, they both slowed down. I mean, I think at one point Jan was on pace to go sub 2:40 on the marathon, and obviously slowed down a little bit. So no, but an unbelievable event out there. I love the mano-a-mano events, like calling people out and going against the one of the best. I love that stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you And I don't know if you saw, kind of way off kilter, but Usain Bolt, obviously, world record holder in the 100 meters and 200 meters, world's fastest man, a little bit older now. I think he's like 35 now, but I saw that Tyreek Hill and him were going back and forth on Twitter. Of course, the Twitter machine, you can say whatever you want, but Tyreek Hill, who's supposedly one of the fastest guys in the NFL, challenged him to a 40-yard dash. And I don't know where this actually stands right now, but I saw that Usain Bolt said, go ahead. If you want to race, I'll put one of my gold medals up. You put your Super Bowl ring up and let's go. So
I like that. I have to, I think I give the advantage to the guy in the football. He's been running those 40-yard dashes, and a guy like Bolt is strong on the last 60, and he's so powerful. So I wouldn't, I don't know who do you bet against?
I don't know. So, for reference, Tyreek Hill, when he was in college, ran track. So his best, as we know, Usain Bolt has the world record at 9.58 for the 100. And Tyreek Hill, back when he was in college, ran a 10.12. So he's not, he's no slouch, obviously. And then in the
Sure.
200, they were a second apart. But I guess it all came about because Usain Bolt posted, maybe this was on Instagram, that he posted a picture of him running the 40-yard dash in a 4.22, which is a little bit faster than Tyreek Hill ran his 40. So obviously he comes with a little bit of cachet, there. And obviously it would be interesting to see what's the gold.
What's the fastest 40?
Oh man. I don't know. I don't know off the top of my head. Do I need to look that up while we're sitting here talking?
No, I'm going.
It would be really interesting to watch. There you go. So the world, the fastest is a 4.22.
Was what wide receiver John Ross.
Yes, at a 4.422
at the combine. Who's John Ross? Do we know who he is?
Yeah, that's how much the 40-yard dash means in football. We don't know who the hell that guy
is. He sounds like a really fast white guy that had terrible hands. He couldn't catch anything. He could run real fast, man. That bitch was fast, but he couldn't catch anything. He had terrible hands. He had butterfingers.
That's right.
Yeah. So but I mean, obviously the 40-yard dash, it's a metric that the NFL uses to gauge speed for their players. What always cracks me up? They get the linemen out there running the 40-yard dash. Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? These linemen aren't getting downfield blocking anybody. No way.
No, not when you have a running back who's blasting by them on the whole. Like, you're not catching him. B, why? There's no point.
Yeah, the lineman's running a 6.82 or something, and running by him, and he's gone. So I don't know. Why are we making them do that?
I don't know.
Do you think they make the linemen do the vertical jump too? Also, that's another metric.
I think they do everything.
Wonder what the lowest vertical is for a lineman. Like 4 inches. 3 inches. I can see the refrigerator.
Yeah, Vince Wilfork out there to throw it up with their 380. What was interesting, and I remember who the offensive lineman was, but he was standing on the edge of the pool. And forgive me because I can't. The story kind of sucks because I can't remember who it is. But standing on the edge of the pool, the guy was about 350 pounds.
About normal.
He jumped out of the pool and landed on the side. I mean, you got to be one strong brute to be able to do that.
No, here's what happened, Dan. They played the video in reverse, and you were fooled by that.
No.
He did the video in reverse. He started in a squat position by the pool and jumped into the pool, and they played the video backwards, and you bought it. You watch that and go, man, that guy jumped out of the pool. Look how that was incredible. That's what.
Oh, I'm disappointed
going
now. There was one guy. Okay, maybe that was
because you think that might be true. That's funny.
Sure. Hey, if you're telling me, Rich, that's how much trust and faith I put in you.
I just made shit up. I make shit up all the time.
I know you do. Hey, so we talked about, obviously Olympics just ended. I love the Summer Olympics. I'm pretty sure you do too. And you said I have no notes, but I want to talk about the Olympics. So what do you got for me?
The takeaways that I got from the Olympics is that they play waste sport on the network television that the judges just have a judge that gives a score, and I don't like that. I like sports that you run and that's your time. You do something, you jump as far as you can, and that's how far you jump. So just these sports. So and that seems like it's just gymnastics. But anyway, Kipchoge won going away, took the Olympic gold, 2:08:38. I did watch that, and it seemed easy for him, man. Our buddy Kipchoge, it seemed easy for him. He was smiling.
He is so smooth, and you can't even imagine how fast he's running. I mean, he's running at a 5-minute pace out there, and it looks like he's just chilling. And we always talk about, in the Olympics, you have the greatest athletes in the entire world that you're going against, and to be able to be that dominant is unbelievable.
Yeah, it was actually pretty cool to watch. We Janine and I watched that, and he just, like I said, he just chills running it in. I think he was up by a minute or two. There was a little group behind him that was kind of trying to chase him, but they weren't getting there. Galen Rupp was the first American, finished 8th at 2:11:41, a few minutes back. I thought the Molly Seidel thing was cool, really, really cool on the women's side.
Yeah, no, that was great. I actually did not watch the marathon. I heard about it.
Yeah,
but that was like one of the things that I did not watch. Did you watch the triathlon though?
Well, I did. I didn't watch it. I watched unfortunately, I heard about it, and then I saw what a shit show the start of the men's race was, and the boat kind of being in the middle and somebody firing the gun, and if you go back and watch it, half the people on the dock jump in and start swimming, and some people don't get the memo that they have to stop swimming, and so you got jet skiers chasing them down, and they're still swimming, they're still going and going and going, and and half the field never even jumped in the water. So what a shit show it was at the beginning.
Yeah, no, it was. And I don't know what when you're announcing and you're holding the gun and you're ready to go, you can see the boat. It's 20 feet in front of half of the field. Like, what are you doing?
A huge boat, a huge boat. And so, it got me. Some people are like the guy from, Finland or something. He jumped in right behind the boat, almost landed on the propellers. He's like, fuck it, I'm going, I'm swimming. Some of them are like, nope, not doing it. I'm not jumping in right now, man. This is not good. I'm going to land on the bow of the boat.
You know what's funny when you watch that is because they had to get out of the water, run back up the ramp, and then jump back in. It's amazing watching how bad some of the people were or never practice jumping into the water with a full sprint. Like, you see some of those guys and they full speed up, boom, they're jumping, 10 feet out into the water. Other guys look like they were tripping and falling into the water. I mean, it was just like, you could gain 4 seconds on somebody just by, working on that. But Christian Blumenfeld absolutely torched the field at the end, which is, I mean, God, he was with the breakaway pack on the bike. It was him and, Alex Lee was there and Hayden Wild, with Brownlee. And then with probably 5K to go, Blumenfeld looked like, he was working hard, but all of a sudden said, bye-bye, everybody. I'm going to go win gold.
Gotta go.
And he just absolutely obliterated everybody at the end. What was amazing, he ran a 29-34 split which for a 10K, I mean, if you do that, sub 30 is absolutely blazing. I think he was running a 4:30 pace for the last mile to get into the chute to take that win. But absolutely, Alex Yee, they talked about him being, one of the strongest runners in that field, and it was him and Christian Blumenfeld, obviously, that were going neck and neck. And he just turned on the jets, and Alex had nothing left.
I did see there was a lot of mockery and of the end of the men's race on the social media. Like a little tip machine. I don't know if you've got it involved with some of that, but make it just kind of laughing at, because every single athlete that came across the finish line in the men's division fell to the ground in near death. And they were piled up at one point. There was like it was like a traffic jam. They were piled up, all laying on the ground. And just like, but the amount of effort that these athletes are putting in such.
Yeah. What they don't realize is when people watching it,
they're piled up.
Yeah. But they're basically putting 2 hours of maximum effort into, okay. I mean, okay, Christian Bloom, they did a 1:45. So for an hour and 45 minutes, you're basically redlining. You look at some of these other sports, they're out there racing for 10 seconds, 40 seconds, 30 seconds. They don't understand how hard it is to go as fast and put in the effort that they did. I mean, I looked at Christian Blumenfeld's bike profile.
What other sport? Good.
I was going to say, I looked at his bike profile, and every time they were going around the corner, he was putting in 850, almost 900 watts to propel himself coming out of there. If you have ever ridden a bike, like an average person probably goes out there and rides, maybe for a man, an average person probably rides 200 watts. Maybe for a woman, you're probably doing 150, maybe 140, something like that. So for him to put in that effort, like for an average Joe, if you don't understand, go to the gym, sit on a spin bike and crank that sucker up as high as you can go. And that's what it feels like. It feels like your legs are going to explode.
Hey, good luck, right? Good luck. 800?
800 plus. Like, it's just,
yeah.
I mean, yeah, the efforts that they put in. Yeah. And then talk about running, basically a sub 5 minute miles. I mean, if you ran 6 miles at a 5 minute pace, that's 30 minutes. He ran 6.2 in 29:30. So, I mean, he's running a 4:40 pace for that entire time.
What other sport do you think in the Olympics could equate to that? I mean, obviously the Olympic marathon is a brutal event. Those guys we talked about, Kipchoge, but that's a single event. What other sport? The only thing I can think about is some of the cross country skiing in the Winter Olympics for that kind of duration.
Yes, that's what I would equate it to. I mean, because they are
something else,
They're redlining there. And again, I mean, maybe the mountain bike section that they do. I mean, there's really nothing else in the Olympics. Maybe the marathon swim. I think they did a 10K swim, I think. And those guys are out there. I mean, that might be the only other thing. But again, it's one sport. You can specialize in one sport. These guys need to be great in all three of those sports.
Sure.
Because if you get out in the Olympics and you're not with the top group, you're chasing the entire time instead of leading and working together, with maybe 1, 2, 3 other people out there. So it's just completely different. If you've never competed in multiple sports at the highest level, just pick any 3 sports that you think you're good at, and then go out there and redline each one of those for, 20 minutes, an hour, and then 30 minutes, and go ahead, see how you feel.
Besides triathlon, what 3 sports would that be for you? It'd be golf.
Yeah, I mean, baseball, golf, and
darts. Bowling.
Sure,
I've seen you bowl.
darts. I could bowl. I could bowl.
You're a good bowler. You got that length. You're 6'17", and you've got that length.
I could, yeah. When I release the ball, it's halfway down.
Yeah, top Americans on the men's side with Kevin McDowell finished 6th, and Morgan Pearson, is that his name? Morgan Pearson, 42nd.
Yes.
So were there only 2 athletes from each country? 2?
Well, you could have more. You had to qualify though on an individual basis. So yeah, those were the 2 that qualified and made it through the Olympics. And yeah, McDowell, unbelievable. He was with the lead group the entire time. Went out on the run with the lead group. Obviously, wasn't as good of a runner as the other 2, but man, he put in a great effort. And on the mixed relay team too, I think if I recall correctly, the Americans finished second in that, and yeah, USA, and he was a great portion of that too. So good on him. He probably, for USA triathlon, he was probably the most dominant person that we had.
Right on. I didn't follow the mixed relay. What was that about? What was going on there?
So the mixed relay, you have 4 people on your team, and everybody does like a super sprint. So if I recall correctly, I think you're swimming. I think it's like 400 yards. You're biking like 6, and then running a 2K, every single person. So when you come out, you slap the hands of your teammate. They run down to the start, jump in the water, and they do their, and you just keep handing it off. So yeah, it was great to see Team USA finish second.
And that's a real event now. Is that that's a real
yeah that's a medal event. So for a lot of the people, like if in the women's race and in the men's race, if they were part of the mixed relay and they realized that they weren't going to finish on the podium, you saw a lot of people pull out or just kind of coasted in because they knew they were going to save some energy for that super sprint.
Gotcha. Well, that's cool. I like that, man. That's like that the beginners triathlon where they go down to Jack's Golf and Country Club, and got the swim walkers and stuff like that. That kind of distance. Yeah.
Yeah, it's exactly like that.
I don't know. Sometimes I start talking. I don't know where I'm going. Hey, Flora Duffy from Bermuda. Flora Duffy from Bermuda finished first in the ladies. Good on her, man.
Yeah, by over a minute. I mean, she annihilated the field on the run. I mean, she just absolutely kicked it into another gear, basically left everybody in the dust. And I thought Georgia Taylor Brown, she was my pick from the beginning. I didn't realize Flora Duffy was going to come out and blaze the field. She ran, a 33-minute, 10K, absolutely crushing it. Katie Zafaras finished third. So good on Katie for, the Americans getting on the podium there. But yeah, I don't think you can say enough about Flora Duffy, and she basically carries the island of Bermuda. I mean, she was probably the most Googled person ever in Bermuda.
That's a good perspective. We Katie Zafaras is Zafaras. Are you going with Zafaras or Zafiris?
It's probably Zafiris, but I'll go Zafaras. I don't know. Hey, we talked about what all the Olympic sports. We talked about all the Olympic sports that they have.
Yeah.
Go ahead. And what I'm going to read down some of the. Did you watch all the Olympics? Like some of those Olympic games, you sit there and you're like, I could do that, right? I mean, come on, handball. I feel like if
I could, if we train, we could do handball.
For sure. But I also think you could put together a pretty strong team if you took a bunch of ex-pitchers. Basically you're just throwing the ball as hard as you can and with accuracy. I mean, you talk about a sport where the goalie has no chance of stopping the ball. You talk about You talk about water polo, and you talk about handball, and even throw in soccer. The goalies are there, but they literally have no expectation of stopping the ball ever.
The goal's the side of a barn, like the size of the side of a barn, and this guy's got and the people are throwing the ball. I mean, you've got pretty good accuracy when you throw the ball. When you kick the ball, or if you throw the ball like in water polo, you're treading water and you're barely got your head above water, and you got to throw the ball. You've got no leverage. But man, these are grown men, like, you know, with their feet planted, throwing a little ball that they can just grasp and just and yeah, the goalie's got no chance.
No,
you just want the fattest guy.
No
you want the guy that weighs 700 pounds. You just stuff him in the goal, you know.
You know what I love in handball? When there's a foul that occurs within the zone, they basically the equivalent of a penalty kick in soccer. They have the guy throwing the ball from like 10 feet away. There's no chance that guy's stopping the ball. There's no chance.
Is that the one where they can run and like jump at the line and throw it too? Is that the deal with that one? I can't remember. So they can like run and almost jump into the goal and throw it, you know? Yeah, some of the sports are really bizarre. Like, so how does that get to that? How do they propel that? So, we talked about this. I'm playing pickleball now, and they, people are like, why is this handball in and not the pickleball? Why is pickleball not in? I think it's a long process. Involved in the International Committee to get them to recognize them as an Olympic sport. It's not an easy deal. I'm sure it takes a long process. You're just not going to say, hey, we're doing pickleball today. You know, that's not how it works. Every other country's got to, they have to bring athletes too. And if people in Indonesia aren't playing pickleball, they don't have a team, so, but how does handball get to that level where it's recognized by the International Committee to, this is a sport, a medal sport? How does that get there? I mean, did you play handball in high school?
No. And you know what? When I read handball, I'm like, is that the one where you hit it against the wall and you just play with the little blue ball and you just smack it against the wall? And I'm like, no, these guys are you don't have to dribble. You don't have to dribble. You hold the ball, you run down the court and you huck it as hard as you can into the net. Like, I mean, there's like a 99.9% chance you're scoring every single time you come down. It's totally ridiculous.
Well, what's the scores? The scores are like indoor arena football, The arena football scores are like 108 to 107. Jacksonville Sharks won another one against the Orlando Predators, 108 to 107.
Oh my God, it's just unbelievable. No, not at all. So these are that, and let me see. There was another sport.
Wait! Time out. Look at the lava lamp.
Oh, yes.
It's doing its thing now, baby. It's heated up.
We are in. We're in. Look at that thing. Lamp. I knew if we stayed on the air long enough, it would work.
42 minutes in, I only knocked it down one time.
2 minutes.
The arena
in.
Football. So yeah. You ever see? Yeah, 2 minutes in. You ever get a guy in Kinjin towards the scrimmage line as fast as he can. The guy in motion can just sprint as fast as he can, and they hike the ball, and he's just gone.
He's gone. Literally, the defender has no chance. He's at a standstill. The guy's coming full speed to the line of scrimmage and just blows by him like there's no chance.
And the whole field's only 34 yards long, so we're good. He's in the end zone. Just throw it to him. It's ridiculous. What else happened?
How about well, I mean, obviously one of the biggest stories was the whole Simone Biles thing going on. And I don't know. We hadn't even talked about this before we got on air. So I have no idea how you feel about this. It was just, and before leading up to the Olympics, I was telling Sky, I'm like, every single commercial that has Simone, like they're saying she's the GOAT, she's the greatest, she's expected to win. Her fucking uniform on for USA Gymnastics had a GOAT embroidered onto the sleeve of her freaking uniform. Like, how much pressure do we put on some of these athletes? And the only people that I could really equate to people experiencing that level of pressure that could speak intelligently about what each athlete goes through. I said Michael Phelps could, because he basically was the face of the Olympics when he was there.
We're going to talk about him later.
Okay. Tiger Woods was probably the only one. And then Michael Jordan. But Michael Jordan grew up in an era where you didn't have social media. There was a lot, obviously he didn't have to deal with a lot of the stuff that the others did. And it was interesting. I saw Ronda Rousey, who is probably the most decorated, woman, as far as expectations go, being in the Olympics, then being the face of the UFC, and now being in WWE, like she's carried all of the women's sports there. I felt like, and basically she came out and said, you guys have no clue what you're talking about when you talk about the expectations on that. And then I saw Michael Bisping, who's, UFC basically calling her a quitter and, she's a disgrace and all this. And what I'd like to say, like Bisping, shut the F up. Like, nobody expected you to do jack in anything that you did. So, for him to come out and criticize, Simone, I just thought it was ridiculous. The one thing, obviously it brought a lot of attention to, what athletes go through. You basically prepare all your life for, 10 seconds or one event or this, and how many people compete in multiple Olympics. Like it's so, but, I was so happy to see Jade Carey, who was an alternate for the team, actually got to participate in the floor exercise when Simone pulled out, and absolutely crushed it. Like, there's nothing better than watching someone, not make the team, be an alternate. You don't know whether or not you're going to compete. I thought she got screwed in the overall. I thought she made the team, or was able to make the finals, and she got screwed on one of her scores on the balance beam. And I was pissed about that, but glad to see her. She came back in the floor exercise, did well. So good on her. Took advantage of the opportunity that she had. But go ahead, because I have no clue what you're going to say.
So here, listen, I 100% respect for what you just said, obviously. This is what she's worked for her whole life. She's worked for this moment her whole life. Athletes have to be prepared mentally, and they have to be prepared physically to engage in the activity that they prepared for her whole life. For her to say she wasn't ready mentally, then she wasn't prepared. You have to come prepared. I understand there's pressure. Nadia Comaneci underwent pressure from the Romanian country, dependent on her, and whatever came out of Romania besides Nadia Comaneci, Olga Korbut in the 70s, all gymnasts have worn that burden forever, and that is part of preparing for the sport that they're getting ready to engage in. Empathy, sympathy for her, because it's tough. I can't imagine how tough it is. I can't imagine having to bear that pressure. But that is prepared your whole life for, and that's part of the game. That's part of the game. The mental game in most sports is just as important, if not more important, than the physical game. So unprepared, maybe. I don't know, or just not prepared for that moment. And she got in that moment and she wasn't ready for it. She wasn't ready for it mentally. Obviously I think she's the GOAT. I still think she's the GOAT. I think you put her up against any gymnast, and she's the best at what she's done. And the pressures were there, and she couldn't live up to those pressures. Hey man, sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. And you move on and you say, I wasn't there that day, but that's part of the game.
I don't, I mean, you talk about the Romanians and the person that you talked about. The difference between them is, were they expected to like break every single 100%. Record, get the highest scores ever? Like, and she's done it.
She was the first. These were first women that got tens in meets in back in the day.
Yeah, I mean,
Pressure for
but again,
entire countries were on them. Just like and that's gone on. And the reason I bring that up, old people, Olga Korbut was 1972. So pressure has been pressure ever. And to say now that this is a new pressure, no, it's not. It's pressure. It's pressure to compete, and it's pressure to perform at the highest level, and the expectations are the same. So if you're not mentally ready, you're not mentally ready, and I understand that sometimes you're not.
No, I don't. I don't think it's mentally prepared at all. I think there's a lot of outside influences. I mean, you talk about 1972. You're not dealing with any of the stuff you're dealing with now. You're not dealing with media down your throat every single time you go out there. And she was. I felt like she was mentally prepared. If you watched her during the U.S. Olympic trials, nailed it every time. Like she was on point. And I think, I mean, of course, I'm never going to know what goes on in her head. I think physically I think physically she was ready. I think, but if you have any doubt, just like in pretty much any of these sports that you do, you can really hurt yourself, with what you do. I mean, if you one
every
hundredth of a second, everything, like, you watch those BMX guys, they don't hit a trick. I mean, you're in a world of hurt. You're in a world of hurt if you miss on the Olympics. I don't know. I think there's such, I looked at the media and I'm like, holy shit, they put like every single time you go out there, like you can't have an off day ever. For some of these athletes, they expect you to be the best you are and we can even equate this on a smaller level. Like when you go see triathletes out there, like you see top age groupers or top pros, like you expect them to go out there and be amazing every single time they do. And when they have an off day, they're like, what the fuck? But it's like, hey, so sometimes, like you said, it's not your time at that moment. And, I don't know. I mean, it's just, obviously I'm a crappy, local age group athlete that has, nobody cares what I do. And, in the thick, scheme of things,
I care.
Oh, thanks, Rich. Yeah. But you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have the world. You're the face of the Olympics. Like, it's just, and Michael Phelps battled the same thing.
Do you understand what I'm saying though? I mean, that's part of the game. That's part of the.
Yeah, but if you went out there,
it might be tough. It might be tough. It might be tougher now. It might be tougher now, but that's the game. That's the game they're in. She's a multi-millionaire because of her things she's done, and that's part and pressure too. I mean, she's got a lot of things to live up to, and that's part of the game. And if you get on the world's biggest stage and you can't perform stage and you can perform, then something's not right. You haven't prepared enough, or you're just not strong enough in some way to do it. And there's nothing wrong with that. Just you are. I was glad to see some of the other American girls step up and take control and lead their team, but they needed their leader. And at the time when they needed their leader, she couldn't perform, and that's unfortunate.
No, that's. I mean, we're going to agree to disagree, obviously, on this one. But
can you imagine Tom Brady getting the Super Bowl? Hey, listen, imagine Tom Brady getting the Super Will and just saying, I'm sitting this one out, boys. Pressure's too tough. What would you say?
You know what? I've watched Tom Brady in the Super Bowl, and I thought he did sit out. No, there's been times when in 2007 when they were undefeated and they went into that Super Bowl and he came out at halftime, and I was like, he wants no part of this. He wants no part of being here. And again, Tom Brady, the greatest ever. I underperformed in that performance. He was not ready. He looked, his demeanor, the way he was standing, acting. No, I don't think he was at his top level there.
That's part of being an athlete, though. And Dan, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not arguing this point one way or another. We're just, it's a different perspective, and we look at things differently sometimes. But that's part of being an athlete. Sometimes, like at the beginning of the show, I said some days if you're standing over a putt, you got a 20-foot putt, and you look like you're putting into a man. Some days, and some days you can't hit a 3-footer to save your life, and that's part of sport. Sport is some days you're there, some days you got it, some days you perform. So it doesn't matter how hard you train, doesn't matter if your training's perfect. Some days on race day, you touch the line and you just don't have it, and that's the day, And so I mean, it comes and goes, and that's sport. Sport. She didn't have it that week. She didn't have it. Okay. Nothing against her. Not saying she's not the GOAT, but she didn't have it. I don't know.
All right. Moving on.
I want to talk about that more.
We could. Well, you said you had something to talk about Michael Phelps. So
he was on our part. Well, I guess I can't talk about that now because I said it. It was part of our 3 questions.
Oh, no. Hey, we'll wait then. No, we'll wait. No, the one, did you watch any of the swimming events that went on?
I watched a little bit. I'm not gonna lie and say I watched all of it. I watched a little bit. They're just ridiculous. Janine would come running in and go, "Oh, this person just swam this in this," and that takes me twice as long to swim. The same distance.
It is. It's amazing how fast they swim. But I think the greatest takeaway from swimming so Ariana Titmus, who's from Australia, and basically her and her coach put together a goal, and they were like, "We're going to beat Katie Ledecky. Like, we've built up 4 years to have this moment, and we think we can beat her in this distance." And they did in the first event. And that guy, you remember the Ultimate Warrior, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So he literally, I don't know if you watched him in the stands, but this guy's name is Dean Boxall, and he absolutely went berserk in the stands. And if you haven't seen it, you have to Google Dean Boxall and look up what this guy's reaction was in the stands. This coach grabbed he's grabbing the stands in front, and he's shaking the handrail like the Ultimate Warrior shook the rope when he got up to the ring. I mean, it was absolutely insanity. It was probably the greatest thing I've ever seen.
He's fired up. It was kind of disappointing too to watch a lot. It was disappointing to watch all the athletes, and this is their these athletes work their whole life to get there, and to not have a full stadium, not to have the accolades that they should, and deservingly so, should be getting for their efforts in the Olympic Games. It was weird. Had to been weird to perform in these empty stadiums and empty events, or nobody's there.
Do you think it's harder, or are you so locked in that you don't notice? Like, I feel like for some of those you have to be so one tracked and basically tunnel vision when you're doing something. Does it, I have no idea.
I'll bet. I don't either. Obviously, I'm just a dumb sitting here with a Rooker hat on. I'll bet some of the people thrive on that enthusiasm and the crowd support. Some people need that kind of reinforcement, where others are, maybe they're just, like you said, just focused in on what they have to do, and at that time and that given time, where if you're doing a high jump or a pole vault and the entire crowd is just cheering, you might get that extra inch or two and get over that pole or something like that with that enthusiasm, where just an empty, quiet stadium, you might just not be into it. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think it would definitely be harsh. And again, and not only did you have an empty stadium, you also had to peak twice. Like all of these athletes who thought that Tokyo was happening in 2020, and then they need to take their time off, and then they need to build back up to peak twice. Like, I mean, typically you have one chance to do it, and they had to do it twice. And I think that not only that had a big hand, and because you saw some of the athletes that I thought would absolutely dominate, and they didn't. They just, I mean, like Katie Ledecky in some of those, events, you'd think she's going to kill everybody, and a lot of those were closer, and she ended up losing a couple of events. Like, you just don't know. Like, and again, we're never going to know. But like, when you are peaking and you're at your best, how many of these athletes went into the games thinking they were at their very best? I don't know.
And it was probably hard to judge how at the best they were, because they hadn't had that competitive season in front of them, and hadn't had that time competing against some other people. I don't know. You could compete against a stopwatch all you want, but you get against a real life human and have to throw down, then it might be totally different. Who knows? It was interesting to me that they kept, they're calling the 2020 Olympic Games, and it's 2020. I'm like, it's kind of weird. I don't know. Kind of freaked me out.
Well, you know why they did that? You know how much money it would cost to change all those marketing materials?
Yeah, we can't change this banner back here. If we change this banner, we got to change 8,000 banners, and that's going to cost us way too much money. We can't do that. It's like when
they already. For sure. They already.
Go.
No. Finish your thought.
No. It was stupid. Everything I said.
No, I was just saying you can't change anything. They're already losing. I think I read somewhere that it was basically by not having fans that Tokyo was losing about $180 million from lost revenue of just the tickets, I think. So then you think about, flights coming in, heads in beds, and dinners and everything there that people typically spend on. So yeah, it was obviously a big hit for them. And even leading up, like the week before the Olympics, I was like, I don't even know if this is going to happen.
So watching the Olympics, we talked about like different sports. What was the one sport that did you gravitate to any sport then go, that one's pretty cool? I wouldn't normally have watched this, but we talked about the handball. Was there anyone that jumped out at you? You were like, I kind of enjoy watching that.
Yeah, you know what one I really liked watching, and again, I usually watch all the events because except for some of the stupid ones that I think aren't really sports, like equestrian, you're riding a freaking horse, doing all the work. I think that's ridiculous. You shouldn't be getting a medal for that, but
the horse gets the medal.
The horse should get the medal. One that I really like is the canoe slalom.
I thought that too. Yes, those guys were badass.
That thing was. First of all, how hard was that course?
Yeah,
that was ridiculous.
Oh my God.
Yep.
So I thought that was good too. Those guys are just. The shoulders and backs on those people. My goodness.
Yep. Yeah, and then to go on a couple of those where you came down against the where you had the rapid, but you had to go back up against the rapids to get through I'm like, how are they going uphill against this current? That is absolutely ridiculous.
They're defying physics at some point here. There's no way they could be doing this. No way they could be doing this.
And then the one other thing that I did like was the high jump. First of all, how the hell those people jump as high as they do?
What's the record now? Do you know what's the record at?
I don't know where the record's at, but it's like 8 feet something.
Is it over 8 feet? They've jumped 8 feet. I remember when I was a little kid. That was a long time ago, Dan. A long time ago. I was a little kid, and I remember the guy broke the 7-foot barrier when I was a little kid. And I remember going out back to the yard, and I got the little tape measure out, and I taped 7 foot up. And it was like twice as high as me. And I just couldn't believe that a human being could jump over that, And so now they're over 8 foot. That's amazing.
It is. It's absolutely incredible. Yeah. So
I'm taking
just
your word
speaking out of my ass right now. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not looking at it in front of me. I'm sure we'll get calls from other people being like, nah, that wasn't, it's not even close.
It's 7'9". Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm giving you, if you get 7'9", I'm going to give you 8 foot. I'm just going to.
Yes.
I see you.
All
I
right,
see you wearing the Chow. I see you wearing Chow Sportswear. Is that Chow? Is that how you pronounce that?
Chow Sportswear. Yes.
Is that our new sponsor, Chow Sportswear? We'd like to thank you for sponsoring the Dan Gets Rich Endurance Sports podcast. We appreciate.
They should be. That's
and you're gonna.
Yeah, that's part of Veneto Sportswear. This is their this is like their active sportswear version. So shout out to Chow.
Chow. Yeah, awesome.
Are we ready for 3 questions?
I don't think I have 3, but I have at least 1.
All right, let's go with your 1 then.
I kind of blew my I blew my wad early with this one. It's I was gonna say it then not say it, and then I just say it. Who is the most Olympic medals of all time? Who has that? Who holds that record?
I mean, it's got to be Phelps, right?
It's Michael Phelps. What are the total number of medals that he has? How many medals do you think he has?
I think he's won 23 golds and 8 silvers. Does he have 31 medals? Is that?
I had a total of 28 total, but I could be wrong. But I did have 23 gold. You hit that on the nose. I had 28 total, so I guess he has 5 silver or 5.
Okay. All right.
Bronze.
Yeah, I mean, so, the good on him, man. That's incredible and when he won 8 in that one year, I mean, that was phenomenal. What I saw, Honus Wagner card was just sold. There's 6 of them in the world, I think. How much do you think someone paid for a Honus Wagner baseball card?
Okay, so I do know that there's been a resurgence in the baseball card world.
Yes,
of late. Most collectibles in the baseball card, all sports cards in particular. They've a lot of the sports cards companies are putting out kind of 1 of 1s and 5 of 1 of 5s and those cards, and people are doing the live card opening, with the open the pack live on the YouTube machine, and then they yell and scream because they've got 1 of 5, which they know it's valuable or whatever. And I do know that they just had the largest sports card show last week. It's in Chicago, so I've been following this peripherally a little bit, but I'm going to say the Honus Wagner, and I know that there's some newer cards that are going for $1 million. I'm going to say the Honus Wagner card. Oh man, $4 million. Am I way over?
No, you're close. $6.6 million it just sold for.
I like the fact that you just said I said 4 million and I'm $2.6 million off, and you say you're really close.
I was thinking about I didn't want to say 66% of the way there, so I just thought it was above 50, so you're close.
Yeah, that would have been good because math is hard for me and I wouldn't have known what you're talking about. But yeah, it's like you refer to that like it's pocket change, an extra $2.6 million. So 6.6 million, is that what you said?
6.6. Yep.
That's impressive. So do you have cards? You have ball cards that you collected when you were young?
I do. So I was a huge Bo Jackson fan when I was younger. So
Bo Jackson?
Bo Jackson was my favorite.
Okay.
So I would basically trade every single card that I had for Bo Jackson cards. So I have a slew of Bo Jackson cards.
What year would his cards be? What year would his cards be?
He was a rookie in 85, 86. And then obviously his career was cut short. So I think his last year was 92, I think, playing baseball. Okay.
So I don't have any. I need to find my cards because I know that they're all based on, if you got fingerprints on them, if the corners are edged or if they're, centered on the printing. But I have a ton of mid 70s, late 70s cards, bunch of them, like Ricky Henderson's and shit like that.
Yeah, you need to look those up. Like we talked about with the whole NFT thing. I really think sports cards kind of made the resurgence, and it's unbelievable right now.
Do we need
Do we need an NFT of Dan Gets Rich? Yes, we do.
Yes. So we could actually NFT this broadcast.
It is the first one.
We could NFT each one of our audios, and get an NFT, a non-fungible token.
Yes.
I didn't know what NFT was until maybe 2 months ago, and now I'm fascinated with the whole NFT thing.
It's an amazing phenomenon.
By it. Yes, it is an amazing
well,
phenomenon.
It blows my mind. Yeah, go ahead.
The one dude, Bickle or whatever his name is, he sold one for like $75 million or something.
You know what the crazy thing is? It dwarfs real art. Like, how much would an Andy Warhol go for? And then you look at these NFTs, and they're like tenfold. What a Warhol was going to go for.
I think the concept is that to give value to art and to give perpetual value to art, especially to an artist. Think about Andy Warhol sells a piece of art for $100,000, and in years go by, somebody else sells it for $200,000, somebody sells it for $2 million, somebody sells it for $40 million. The concept behind NFTs would be that Andy Warhol would get a percentage of that resale value perpetually down the line. So an NFT could add value to the original artist forever, rather than the reseller making all the money.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that's one of the concepts behind it.
You would have to live that long.
Well, I mean, you don't have to. Yeah, I mean, with NFT world, you might live 3 weeks, and somebody sells it 20 times, and you make $100 million.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. It's just
so we're gonna make an NFTs. If somebody is in it, I think I know how to make them. I think I can figure out how to make an NFT of this audio. We could probably do that and sell it.
Rich is making an NFT of his lava lamp.
Fuck, wouldn't you? I actually have a very good friend that's a very, very, very good artist, and I started talking to him about doing some of it, and he doesn't understand the concept, and I kind of do, and not really, but so hopefully I'll be working in that direction at some point in time, because he's the kind of paradigm of him going to an art show and setting up his art and selling it. It's ridiculous. He's standing out in the hot sun trying to sell it to some drunk guy, hopefully at some point in time we'll figure that out.
Are you in on the cryptocurrency too?
I've been in on the crypto from a long time, and I'm a hold guy. I did very, very well. Well, I did on Doge though, because I recognized that it was really early on that young kids were moving the market. When I say I bought Doge at 0.0023 and I sold at 9 cents, and people laughed at me because I sold at 9 cents. I was like, I bought it 0.0023.
Right.
Do the math. Did pretty well on that. But with the Bitcoin, I've been a buy and hold. I've never sold any of my Bitcoin, and so I've got a little bit of Ethereum also that I bought at $33. So
that was a pretty good return. I think just over 3,300 right now.
Yeah. I mean, and we'll continue to go up on that. At some point in time, Bitcoin was, we're at 65 at one point, but I didn't sell any in the next week. I felt like a dumb, but whatever.
Yeah, no, I've been watching this one. It's called Helium. Yeah. And you know about Helium? Yeah, I've been watching that one for a while. I'm just kind of curious to see how that's going to take off, because I mean, that could really be a disruptor in the telecommunications marketplace.
I feel like yes, 100%. I think the Ethereum is going to be the one that is going to get driven by the NFTs.
Yeah, yep, for sure.
I mean, that's the blockchain that we're dealing with that. So it's all weird. It's all stupid. I ran into a guy last week, and I went to Sun and Fun with him on his airplane years ago. And I was trying to explain, he's a very wealthy guy, and I was trying to explain Bitcoin to him at that time. And I think Bitcoin was like at $35, and he didn't understand the concept. And we were just joking around about Bitcoin, and I was trying to explain it to him, and he could have spent $10,000 and been worth $70 million, with Bitcoin at that time. So, and I ran into him this week, and I reminded him. He was like, "Yeah, you were trying to tell me about that stuff."
You're like, "Yes, I was. Yes,
And
I was."
$10,000 was, the gas bill for his airplane for that week. So whatever. Kind of funny.
Too funny.
I did see some guys making money now. The NCAA has relaxed the rules for college athletes to make their name. You start making dollars on their name and their images and their likeness. And I think it's something that's long overdue for college athletes. These athletes going and making millions and millions and millions of dollars for these big schools. And I did see that Bryce Young hadn't started a game for Alabama. And how much do you think he's made through his likeness and his deals?
I am pretty sure. I don't know the exact number, but I think it's over $1 million already.
He's capped over $1 million already. Hadn't taken a snap for Alabama. So good on him. Good on these guys, these athletes that are gonna. And I think there's a huge market for these for these agents and these and they're probably just kind of feeling out how they're going to do this, how they're going to start making money for these kids. And there's a lot of money that's going to be involved with that. So I think something to look forward to in the years to come here is how these guys are going to start making money. And I think the agent market is probably going to be huge for them.
You know what? At first, I thought it was going to be capped. Obviously, if you're already making over $1 million, it's not going to be capped. This literally will be the end of the NCAA. I mean, with people making money, they're going to have to change their rules again. Why? There's no reason. Just make it all professional sports at this point. You're now making money. You are a professional athlete. At that point, you're making money for your craft that you're doing. There's no reason to have college. Just make it all. And again, like in the NBA, you used to be able to go from high school directly to the NBA if you were good enough. Just do that. Like the one and done in college basketball is stupid. Just either get rid of that or make people go for 3 years. It waters down the college basketball landscape. I hate college basketball when you have these players that are in and out and halfway through the year, they don't care.
Listen, I beg to differ, Dan. I think that if you incentivize it and these kids can stay in school and they're still making some money and they can take care of mommy and dad back at home, which is what a lot of these kids want to do. They want to take care of their families, rightfully so. But if you can go to North Carolina and you say, hey man, I got my likeness on a tennis shoe where I can make $1 million a year, I'm going to stay here and play basketball for a couple more years instead of having to go right into the NBA or go into the NFL. So I think that it actually incentivizes kids to stay in school longer. And I think that's a good thing.
Man, I don't know. I mean, the amount of money you're going to make signing a professional contract is so much more than what you're going to make. So why don't you
maybe not.
Why don't you do this?
If you're your own brand these days, these kids are their own brand. They're on Instagram, they're on whatever. They're their brand. Their name is their brand. And maybe not. Maybe they can start making a good amount of money and stay in school.
Well, fine. Then they should do this. They should allow you to be able to go. So for your top 1%ers who are wasting their time being at school, who have no interest in going to school, let them go to the NBA. And then that'll elevate your mid to high level players up into that upper echelon who would make more money. Yes, that would allow them to stay in school longer instead of, you always get those flyers on those kids are like, I could probably be a second round pick. I'm just going to go and see what happens. And then they don't get drafted. And then, then they're playing in the G League or, out and, doing whatever after if you're going to do it that way, but I think you have to do it both, because first of all, how much animosity are you going to have? You got Bryce Young making $1 million. You got all his offensive linemen making no money and they're protecting his ass, making him look good. I mean, it's it can definitely divide for sure.
Yeah. You think about that. One guy's trying to, working at, trying to go to Bojangles to get a 2-piece meal and something to eat. And Bryce is pulling up in his brand new Lambo, going to class in his Lambo. But that's the way it used to be back in the day. You listen to some of those old SMU stories, you know, those guys rolling up. What was it, Eric Dickerson and stuff like that back in the day? Those guys were big ballers, you know. It was all under the table, but they were, you know, Eric Dickerson rolling up in a gold Cadillac, you know, going to class at SMU, I think.
That's the thing. How dumb are some of these players? Like, if you're getting money under the table, just tone it down a little bit.
No, dude. Imagine if Eric Dickerson, if he had Instagram back in the day, he'd be flashing that cash on Instagram. big baller, baby.
Oh man, too funny.
Big
too
baller.
Funny. All right, buddy.
All right.
I think we're done. We could have this conversation all day long. It's unfortunately I got to drive up to Jekyll Island this afternoon for a work conference. So
I'm not feeling bad for you. I'm not feeling bad for you, buddy. You're going to Jekyll Island, going to go up to the Jekyll Island and chill out up there for a work conference. No, it doesn't sound like a rough life, man.
It's not. I'm going to be shacked up in the Westin there for the next 4 days.
Yeah, rough. We're all crying crocodile tears here for Daniel King, Dan Cole. Hey, Dan, it was nice to talk to you, man. It's been a while, and nice to talk to you. Nice to see you. Glad things are going well for you, and always enjoy doing this with you.
All right, man. We'll talk soon. We need to get back on a regular schedule now.
Let's do it. Later.
All right. We'll talk soon. Take care.
See you, buddy.